DeBusschere 8 points, 4 out of 8 from the field, 3 rebounds. 3 to make 2 here because they are in the penalty situation, and Bradley will come back into the lineup for New York. Three-point lead now for the New York Knicks, 35-32. And it goes to Cowens against Reed. Good play. Cowens now totals 16 points in the ball game. It's up the shooting average to 7 out of 14 from the field. Meminger against Westphal. Now DeBusschere has Westphal on the switch, but gives it away to Frazier. Off Reed screen. Frazier misses. Cowens way into the air for that rebound. He has 5. Here comes JoJo for Boston. Little pause in his dribble, puts it up. Foul on Meminger, and White will shoot 2. Third personal on Meminger. And Paul Silas returns to the lineup, replacing Steve Kuberski. Dave DeBusschere is out, and Jory Lucas is in. A change for the New York Knicks. There's Luke, number 32, coming in. Bill Jackson coming off the floor. As Bill Bradley returns to the lineup, and Dick Barnett is off the bench and will come in, replacing Meminger. Round of applause for Jackson leaving and Barnett coming.
I think when you look at the quality of the players that are coming off the New York bench, they're one of the deepest teams in basketball.
Right. White on the line makes the first of 2 shots. The New York reserves have played 18 minutes compared to Boston's 7.
And Boston just went ahead.
First time in the ball game, the Boston Celtics have had the lead at 36-35. They led early when they were just beginning to total up the points, but at that point it was a relatively inconsequential thing. Now it is 36-35. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second quarter, and New York comes right back and answers to regain the lead by 1. You get down to this point of a ball game, it begins to take on some meaning as far as leadership is concerned. Remember the closing moments of the second quarter Friday night. New York gets the ball. It's off Nelson. The Knicks were able to shut down the Celtics scoring and left the floor with a 12-point lead. Let's see whether or not they can do it again. Barnett and Bradley and Frazier all in that backcourt to bring it up. Silas against Bradley. Cheney against Frazier. Barnett and White squared off into the corner to Bradley. Silas on him, and Bradley misses the shot. Tipped by Silas. He controls. Ahead to JoJo. Nice play by White. British shot.
Well, that's the stuff the Celtics have to keep doing. They're running down and taking a shot.
Boston back on top at 3:20 to go, first half.
And the way they run, if they go and take a shot like that, which may not look like a good shot, but they hit the offensive boards very well off of the run.
JoJo now 4 out of 9 from the field, 10 points. Frazier working one-on-one. It goes inside on a quick pass to Dick Barnett. Barnett against JoJo, can't get it.
24-second violation.
And 24-second violation by New York. Take another look at this play by White as he realized he might lose the ball, just tipped it over the head of Barnett and then popped it in.
It's called an air dribble. You see, if you knock it in the air like that, if you catch it, you can't dribble anymore. But if you let it hit the floor, you can keep dribbling.
Reed sweeps the backboard for New York. Boston ahead by 1, 38-37 with 2:45 to go. Barnett feeds it inside to Frazier. Cheney seals him on the baseline, and Don fouls him.
Timeout Boston.
Time call, Boston. So we've got 2 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the first half. The Boston Celtics lead the New York Knicks 38-37.
Welcome back to the Vault, where we're living life in 1973. When the Knicks acquired Earl the Pearl Monroe from the Bullets of Baltimore, they knew they were getting an awesome player, but they didn't know something else that they were getting. A guy by the name of Marvin Cooper also came up I-95. When they called a timeout at Madison Square Garden, suddenly he would appear behind one of the baskets in the aisle, and he would dance. And he became known as Dancing Harry. Traditions, one of the things we love about sports, and Dancing Harry became one of the great traditions in 1973. Yeah, he's a throwback. We throw it back to Game 4. It's heading to 2 overtimes.
And in chaos, John Havlicek right there. And I'll tell you something. When John walked out alone, walked across the floor prior to the start of the ball game, I think at least 15,000 of the 19,000 in Madison Square Garden this afternoon stood and gave him a hand because they do respect him, and I guess no player in the NBA is more respected than John Havlicek. Tom Heinsohn, who already has the technical for the day, one more, and he'll be gone, so Tom's going to have to be socially proper in the second half.
And inoffensive.
The starting lineups now as we come to the start of the third quarter. Cowens, Cheney, White, Silas, Nelson for Boston. Cowens against Reed for New York. DeBusschere, Bradley, Frazier, and Miminger. Earl Monroe is out of the New York lineup with a bruised hip. Nelson inside, number 19, goes to the floor, almost loses it, does lose it, but Paul Silas wrestles it away, gives it back to White. White misses the first shot of the second half, and Frazier on a breakaway. The Knicks are down by 4. Nelson is open. Good one. Oh, the lead is again 6 for Boston, and Nelson has 4 points, 2 out of 6 from the floor. Keith Jackson along with Phil Russell, and you're watching on ABC. In that Western Conference, Los Angeles has a 3-0 lead over Golden State. Destroyed them last night, 126-70. DeBusschere on a drive foul. DeBusschere offensive.
This is far and away the best defensive game the Celtics have had in this series. And that was solid defense by Nelson. He kept his position, and that was a good call by the referee. Now they're digging in and playing the defense real tough. And this is a great defensive game all the way around.
Dave Cowens against Willis Reed. Hits it. So now Cowens, 9 for 16 from the floor, has 20 points in the ball game. And Boston leads by 8, 52-44. Early in the third quarter. Miminger on a drive. Won't go. Got a whistle. JoJo, the foul.
The Knicks have to be thinking that they can beat this club. They just don't have to get started. And they think they can turn it on whenever they want. So that's something I don't think that's true at all.
Miminger out-quicking White to get the foul called against him. That's the third personal on JoJo, and Miminger misses the first free throw, gets the second. Regular season averaging about 7 points a game. Boston in a hurry down the court. Cheney. Rebound Silas.
And that's an example of what I was talking about earlier, Keith, when I say that when they run, they hit the offensive boards very well.
Had 3 shots at it, didn't get it down. Busher against Nelson. Give it away to Frazier. Celtics steal it. White against Frazier. And it's a 9-point lead for the Boston Celtics, and time calls. JoJo White has 20 points. Dave Cowens has 20 points. The Boston Celtics here in the third quarter trying to run off the big lead. They lead 54-45.
Holtzman was the coach, and his major thing was defense. And sometimes the team would get into a huddle at a timeout, and they had the ball, and Holtzman would ask some of the players, including Bradley, what do you want to run? So the players were sort of running the offense, and Red was smart enough and had enough possession of himself that a loss of ego, I guess you'd say, to let the players do what they want to do. And he ran the defense, and of course they were famous for the defense and for hitting the open man. You could have a play, but you got to hit the open man too. And that's what they were famous for. And they came back and they won another championship. But they very well could have won 4 straight championships.
Boston Celtics have run off 6 unanswered points here in the third quarter.
Well, the Celtics came out running the second half, and that's what they're going to have to do. At this point, they have control of the game because they're setting the pace. They're playing tough defense. Offense are taking off their running, even when they don't have a fast break, which they have to do. And Cowens and JoJo are keeping them in the ball game scoring-wise.
All right, New York wearing the white.
The Knicks are playing careless, too. They've thrown the ball away more times today than they usually throw it away in the game.
They had Bradley wide open as they set a double pick for him, and he couldn't drop it in, and Boston comes out with it. Willis Reed picks up JoJo on the mismatch. JoJo slips loose, misses the shot. Rebound, Paul Silas. Tries to feed it inside to Nelson. Nelson was there, but didn't expect the pass.
Again, I have to emphasize that when they run, they hit the offensive boards very well. Because the defensive man doesn't have a chance to really set up to screen him out, to keep him off the offensive board.
DeBuscher's outside. Missed it. Rebound, Silas. Paul Silas with 14 rebounds in a ball game. White brings it up. Boston 54-45, 9-point lead. Almost throw it away. Inside, good pass, Nelson. Inside, Cheney. Got it. 11-point lead. They've scored 8 straight points. That's the biggest margin of the ball game for either team.
56-45.
Willis Reed's favorite shot. Willis has 8 points in the ball game, 4 out of 6 from the floor. Cowan dribbles it into front court, goes to Cheney, throws it away. That was a pass that had to be perfect. It was not. 12-9. New York the edge in turnovers. Cheney reaches behind and slaps it away from Meminger. Notice the New York crowd, how they come surging up with a roar each time the Knicks bring the ball down the court. 8.5 minutes to go, third quarter. Boston 56-47. Reed in his favorite spot shoots over Cheney, missed the shot. Nelson has the rebound for Boston. Celtics walk it up. They'll set a play this time. Silas picks it for White. Cowan's looking for the hook. Reed knocks it away.
And those Knickerbockers are not shooting well.
Boston has
That's because their rhythm is off. When you're playing at your own pace, then you shoot much better because the timing is there. When you're playing the other guy's pace, then your shooting suffers because the timing just evaporates. And shooting is the most, it's dependent a lot on timing and confidence. And when you're playing the other guy's pace, you have a tendency to lose your confidence.
Now that's twice Boston has come down and thrown the ball away. Let's see if New York can profit from it this time. Yes, they can. They cut Boston's lead to 7. With 8 minutes to go, DeBuscher 12 points, 5 out of 10. Twice Boston's tried to take it on the lob to the baseline. We got a foul blocking on Willis Reed. Third personal. Want to know what blocking is? Watch number 19 in white.
That's Reed's third personal foul, 3 on Reed.
First and goal to go.
Has 1 team foul, 1.
Another look at it from a different angle. See him stick his leg out. Call it blocking, or in that particular case, you might define it as tripping. Boston has the ball. Cowan works inside. Frazier gets the ball for New York. Cowan's made the play as he checked it away from Frazier. Just flat hustle. Here's a good pass to White. Brilliant pass by Cheney. White with 22 points.
And Dave Cowan started by stealing the ball from Walt Frazier.
9-point Boston lead. Bradley's been silent in the third quarter. DeBuscher has a bucket. Frazier's been silent. Shoots over JoJo. Right into the hands of Cowan. Boston controlling the tempo of the game right now. It'll be short. Inside, loose ball. Loose ball foul.
Now, New York is in a very tough position. Because they came out confident they can win, and they feel that, when you're confident, you sometimes feel you can turn it off or turn it on whenever you want to. And now they're in a ball game, and Boston's playing inspired ball.
Don Cheney getting that foul. That's 4 personals on Cheney. 4. Frazier forces the shot, doesn't get it. Rebound Silas, he has 15. 6:50 to go, third quarter. Boston 58, New York 49. Silas not looking for a shot. Cowens is. Won't go. Rebound. Cheney may have another foul. He does. That's 5 on him. Take another look. See him push off. Go banging right in there. Hammered into Bradley. So Art Williams will come in replacing Don Cheney, and that's going to hurt Boston. No question about it. Not that Art Williams isn't a fine ball player, but he's not as big.
What? That's it. Well, that's how frustrating it is sometimes. We're watching these tapes, broadcast by ABC, recorded by somebody who decides to just hit the stop button on 67th Street one day. Well, thankfully, they hit record again in the fourth quarter. And the overtimes, they exist too. And we're going to piece that together as best we can when we're joined by Earl the Pearl Monroe again after this on The Vault. Come on, give me a break.
You're watching Al Trautwig's MSG Vault, only on MSG.
We're back in the vault with Earl the Pearl Monroe with some things that just can't be explained. Now, Earl, we're in 1973. We're looking at your second-round series with the Boston Celtics. And I remember back when I worked at ABC, I'm going to say this was mid-'80s, and they had all these tapes in Lodi, New Jersey, and these big, fat videotapes took up so much room. And they gave someone the job of going in and saying, get rid of that one, keep that one, get rid of that one, get rid of that. So here we are in the third quarter, and for whatever reason, the Knicks are down 9, then they're down 16, and now they come all the way back to tie things at 85, and we don't think that the videotape of that comeback from 16 down exists anywhere. Isn't that weird?
Well, it's weird, but, you know, that's what happens. Back in those days, you know, it was all about getting space. Now they're all on microchips. So.
Exactly. How bad is it or how tough is it to watch a game like this in street clothes?
Very bad, especially when you're used to being out there in the battle. And, you know, if you go to overtime, that's one thing, but double overtime, give me a break. You know, you want to be out there. Every time something goes up, you find yourself moving this way. The shot is going, go. And so, you know, it's a real tough situation when you're out there and you want to be out there and you're not able to.
So, again, this is a videotape that somehow got saved. Pictures on ABC, Marv's call on the radio, game tied, fourth quarter. If the Celtics lose, they know what's on the line. This is the equivalent of the NBA steel cage death match in 1973.
So the Knicks take over now with a chance to move in front for the first time since the second quarter. 2:24 remaining. Tied at 85. Frazier and Meminger out of the backcourt. Bradley returns, replacing Jackson. Frazier with the left-hand dribble moves it across against Westfall. Backing on Westfall. Whizzes by him to the baseline. And then turns, drives the baseline, reverses. Yes! And the Knicks on top 87-85. 2:05 remaining in the game.
So now Madison Square Garden is absolutely going crazy, but the heroics from all Clyde Frazier were not done. Define clutch for me, because we're going to see him hit this shot, and it was, without question, clutch.
Well, Clyde's always been a clutch player. But clutch is a guy who can take the shot at the right time and hit the shot. And sometimes, you know, as a player, you always say, well, they live with me hitting the shot and they'll die with me hitting the shot, but they'd rather live with you hitting the shot.
Let's talk a little bit about the manner of Red Holtzman. You're in the frenzy of overtime. The Knicks absolutely need a basket. What's his demeanor like? What kinds of things is he saying there before you get the ball?
He's saying, you guys are horse. Well, I can't say that. No, he has a real cool demeanor in huddles because, you know, he's got a lot of veteran players, and he always asks for advice from this guy and advice from this guy, and then he'll come up and say, okay, you do this. But, you know, he was a very good tactician, and, you know, that's the reason why we were able to play the way we played.
Well, this is going to be a very important moment for a man who would go on to win many championships in the NBA, both as a coach and as a player. And it would also be one of the moments that defined Red Holtzman as a coach and one of the reasons his banner hangs in Madison Square Garden.
The Knicks were looking for a foul on White in the backcourt as Frazier penetrated through a crowd. Westfall commits the foul. 11 seconds remaining in overtime, and Jackson on the line for two. A clutch situation for Phil Jackson.
The Knicks still not doing it on offense like they normally play when they play well. And again, I have to repeat, I can't believe they're where they are right now, the way they've been playing.
First by Jackson is good, 101-100. Now the second. Up with the left hand, and it is good, and we're tied at 101. Celtics look to inbound. Goes to Cowens, 9 seconds remaining. To White. White to the midcourt line with 5 seconds. White across the line, racing with Frazier. He's to the corner with 2. He pops short at the buzzer. So we go to a second overtime in what is becoming an incredible ball game.
We're back in the vault with some videotapes that miraculously survived the purge by ABC so many years ago with Earl of Pearl Monroe, who's injured for Game 4, Knicks and Celtics. And looking at this box score, Earl, it's unbelievable. You were outscored, the Knicks were, 24-14 in the third quarter, and then there's a turnaround in the fourth quarter. You outscore the Celtics 33-17 to set up overtime. The first overtime is 12-12. They're led by JoJo White, 34 points, and Dave Cowens, 33 points. But the Knicks have 6 players in double digits, and that sort of tells you a little bit about how the Knicks spread around the offense. What does that do for your confidence going into an overtime, knowing that so many different guys can score?
Well, we're a great outside shooting team, as well as having Willis inside. So we were able to get the ball around, and we knew that if we got the ball to Dave, he could knock it down. We got it to Bill, he could knock it down. Willis could knock it down from outside. Clyde could knock it down. So you had many guys who could knock the shot down. So you were kind of ready for, an overtime like this because they were going to crowd the middle up.
The vicious, very physical tone of the series was taking its toll. Earl the Pullman Monroe was hurt. John Havlicek had a bad shoulder. It's all factoring in now. Second overtime, Madison Square Garden, Game 4, 1973.
It is battled around, taken by the Knicks. DeBusschere, whistle on the play, loose ball foul, and it's called on DeBusschere. He turned Nelson around. That is the third on DeBusschere. So it's Boston ball. Westfall inbounds to White. Second overtime. The Knicks and Celtics tied at 101. Silas got it by Jackson, holds the ball over the head. Gives to Nelson. Nelson cuts right. He hands to Westfall. His jump hits the rim, bounds over the backboard and out of bounds. And the Knicks will take over. They continue to go from right to left in overtime. Frazier and Bibby play the backcourt. Giannelli, the center. Jackson and DeBusschere at the forwards. Here's Bibby across the midcourt line. Bibby walks it toward the head of the circle. Got it by Westfall on the right. Frazier's got to be a very tired ball player. Clyde to the pivot line. Backing on White, turns for the jump. Yes! And the Knicks lead by 2, 103-101. White out of the backcourt. White across the midcourt line. White to the head of the foul circle. To Silas on the right. A battle between Cowens and Giannelli down low. Silas cuts left, nowhere to go. Played tight by Jackson. Cross court White. White has the ball stolen by Jackson. Racing ahead of the field. No one near him. He drives and lays it in. Oh, Jackson took it out of the hands of JoJo White. The Knicks by 4, 105-101. Now the Celtics to the forecourt. Westfall across the midcourt line. Driving past Jackson. A running hook. No good. Rebound. Jackson protects it. Looking for help. Now puts it on the floor. Gives to Frazier. Frazier walks it across. Phil Jackson, who has been one of the heroes of this playoff. Here's the DeBusschere side jump. Hits the rim, bounds away. Rebound Cowens. The hook pass to White. White across the midcourt line. White along the left sideline. White to the left side of the circle off the screen. The jump. No good. Rebound. Back tap. Kept alive by Westfall. To the corner Nelson. His jumper. Good. 105-103 the score. 3:20 remaining. We are in second overtime. Bibby across the midcourt line. Bibby along the left sideline. Hands to Frazier. Frazier to the head of the foul circle. Cuts left. Now to the corner. Met by Cowens. Jump. Rims the basket. Rebound White. Boston ball. They try to break. White across the midcourt line. Leads Westfall. It's broken up by Bibby. Tries to save it, but he's out of bounds. It's almost as if the Celtics, known for their run style, are laboring to run. These are two very tired ball clubs, particularly the guys who have been able to remain from the start. Westfall inbounding from underneath his own basket. Gives to Silas in the corner. To the right side of the circle, met by DeBusschere. Holds it over the head. Hands to Nelson. Nelson cuts left. One bounces to Cowens. Makes his move on Giannelli. A turnaround hook. No good. Whistle on the play. And a foul call. Giannelli hit with a push.
John Giannelli, the man of the moment right now, because he is guarding the league's most valuable player, Dave Cowens. Giannelli, a rookie. Cowens, just feels as though he can eat him up, although he's got to be careful with 5 fouls. A very key matchup right now and a big moment for John Giannelli.
2 for 3 thus far for Cowens from the line. His first good. Cowens with 31. The high point man is Frazier, and he has 35 points. White has 34. Here's Cowens second. He can tie it. It is up. Good. 105 apiece with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. We are in overtime number 2. Frazier and Bibby out of the backcourt. Frazier to the forecourt on the right side. Leaves it for DeBusschere. Holds the ball high over the head. Returns to Frazier along the sideline. Holds it up high. Down low to Giannelli. He turns, running one-hander short, but a foul. He was held by Silas. That is only the second foul on Silas, which indicates that he has not been very involved this afternoon. Salas usually aggressive, usually picks up fouls, but again has been invisible, as was the case Friday night. Salas with only 5 points.
Knicks have to settle for the good shot now. They had a 4-point lead a couple of seconds ago, and Clyde came down and took a rush shot. Dave DeBusschere did the same thing, which is unusual for him. So they better wait for the good shot now if they want to take advantage of this situation.
Giannelli misses the first, going in 1 for 3 from the line in a playoff competition. We have 2.5 remaining, tied at 105. Now Giannelli gets set for the second. It is up with the right hand, and it is good. 106-105. The Knicks by 1. The Celtics out of the backcourt, moving left to right. White to the midcourt line. White to the right side of the circle, pops a pass for Cowens, takes it away from Bibby, lays it up, no good, but a foul. Foul on the play, and Cowens will go to the line for 2 shots. Several Knicks gagging up. Jackson committing the foul. That is his first. Cowens 4 for 5 from the line. Has a total of 32 points.
Phil was a, in those days, it was a hippie, I guess you'd say. And wore a big sombrero, wore like a Mexican shawl. And he was smart. He was funny. He was into Zen at that time. You'd go in the locker room, and you see him over in the corner meditating. Nobody else was meditating. And I remember that he did a book at that time, and he gave the book to Red Holtzman. He gave a copy of the book to Red Holtzman, and he wrote in it some kind of philosophy. And Red kept reading it over and over, and Red Holtzman could never understand what Phil Jackson had written in his book. And that was Phil in a way. I mean, he was out there, but he was also a part of things. He was also a lot of fun, and he was smart all the way back then.
The Knicks on top by 1, 106-105. As Cowens gets set, here's it from the crowd. His first, no good. So that evens up on the Giannelli miss. Now here's the second. Cowens takes his time, pops it up, and in. We're tied at 106. And the Knicks come out of the backcourt. These two ball clubs now look like they're moving in slow motion. Bibby moves it across. Bibby to the head of the foul circle. Gives to Frazier on the right. Has the jump from 20. No good. Rebound, Giannelli. Hands to Bibby from the corner. Does not shoot. To DeBusschere from 20. The jump. Yes! And the Knicks lead by 2. 108-106. 2 minutes remaining in overtime, 2. Here's White out of the backcourt. White across the midcourt line against Frazier. Has no acceleration left. White to the right sideline. Holds up the dribble. Looks for Cowens. Snaps it down low. Cowens drives. Shot blocked by Giannelli. The ball knocked out of his hands, but a foul. Foul on the Celtics. Maybe Cowens. Let's see. The indication from Jake O'Donnell. The ball was knocked away from Giannelli. It is Dave Cowens. And Cowens has fouled out. Giannelli with the block against a very tired Cowens. I had just mentioned that White has no acceleration. And John, you look at Cowens, he tried the wheeling move, but he had nothing left. And Giannelli was able to smack it away.
Giannelli knew Cowens' move. Cowens gets that ball low, and he wheels to go baseline. Giannelli beat him to position. He made a great play. Cowens charged him. Giannelli got the ball. Cowens instinctively reacted and fouled him. No question.
Now Giannelli on the line, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Cowens has fouled out. Henry Finkel has come on. Giannelli hits the first. And the Knicks lead by 3, 109-106. A minute and 43 remaining in overtime, 2. Now Giannelli again. It is up. No good. Rebound. Finkel stepping in front of Bibby. The Knicks lead by 3. Celtics out of the backcourt. White across the midcourt line. Holds up at center court. Sends to Westfall along the right side. Westfall cuts left. He's wide open lane. He drives. Whistle on the play. And an offensive foul is called. The Knicks opened up on the left side for just a moment. And then they closed it. And Westfall is called for a time. A minute and a half remaining. Overtime, 2. The Knicks on top, 109-106, looking to go up 3-1 as Frazier walks it across. Sends to DeBusschere along the left sideline. DeBusschere to the head of the foul circle. Cuts right, driving hook. Yes! 111-106 the score.
score with a minute and 15 remaining. Westfall inbounds, gives to White. White out of the backcourt, met at the midcourt line by Frazier along the left sideline. Spinning with a driving one-hander, knocked away by Giannelli, taken by White, one hands, no good. Rebound to Busher. Busher dribbles out of the pack, ahead for Frazier. Frazier on the break to Jackson, he drives, lays it in. 113-106 the score with a minute remaining. Here is Westfall out of the backcourt across the midcourt line, cutting left, double team momentarily, spinning, running one-hander is good. 113-108 the score. 50 seconds remaining. Frazier starts to move out of the backcourt, but a whistle with some debris thrown on the court. Jack Madden calls for an official time. 49 seconds remaining. The Knicks are being waved back down court as Bibby inbounds to Frazier. Ahead Jackson, fumbles, then recovers, sends to Frazier in front court. Frazier spins away from Westfall, cuts it on the sideline that holds. Leaves for DeBusschere in the corner. To Giannelli on the run, drives and hits. 115-108. Giannelli sneaking past Finkel. 30 seconds remaining. Here's Westfall to the forecourt. A spinning jumper hits the rim, bounce away. Rebound Jackson. The outlet to DeBusschere with 24 seconds. Ahead now Bibby across the midcourt line to the head of the foul circle. Bibby cuts back the other way. Gives to Frazier on the right with 15 seconds remaining. Frazier holds it high over the head. Is pushed by White, and White has fouled out of the ball game. Frazier will go to the line. The Celtics are now over the limit. And John, I have to say one thing. A super effort by the Boston Celtics this afternoon, although they will lose in double overtime. They did it without John Havlicek. They had the Knicks on the run at one point, leading by 17. And it's a ball game that neither club will forget. Frazier's first is good. The Knicks now lead 116-108. 12 seconds remaining. Here's the second by Frazier. It is up, off the rim, drops through, 117-108. Silas takes the inbound, gives to Williams, who has come on for White. Ahead for Silas, across the midcourt line, back to Williams, driving down the lane with the floater that is good. 2 seconds to go, 117-110 the score. The Knicks look to inbound as Jake O'Donnell tries to clear the court. 3 seconds remaining. The fans making their way around the perimeter. Now DeBusschere takes it from O'Donnell, flips to Jackson, and he just runs down the clock. That's the story. An emotional victory for the New York Knicks. They do it in double overtime.
So the Knicks win Survivor Madison Square Garden, but lose games 5 and 6 and then have to go to Boston Garden for a decisive game 7. And guess what? To the best of our knowledge, those last 3 games of the series do not exist anywhere. If you have a copy, we'd love to know about it. But I would have to think that winning in Boston Garden earlier in the series helped you believe before Game 7 that you could win there again, right?
Well, obviously, we had a great team that year. And when you win somewhere, you always get a little bit more confidence if you have to go back. Obviously, we didn't expect to lose those 2 games, but when we went back with a lot of confidence going into that game.
Now, you come back for the final of the championship series against the Los Angeles Lakers. Describe the hunger that you felt to win because you had lost to the Lakers the year before.
Well, first of all, guys who have been in the playoffs, have been in the finals, sometimes you think that's the way it's going to be. I was in the finals 3 years in a row, 1 with Baltimore and 2 with the Knicks. Never got back there again. So you have to really be, excited and try and savor the time that you're there. And going into L.A. after being beat the year before, we were very hungry for it. And the first game, we lose the first game.
All right, it's going to be Jerry Lucas and Bill Bradley and Dave DeBusschere and Willis Reed and Earl the Pearl Monroe and Walt Clyde Frazier against 2 other legends, Jerry West, the literal symbol of the NBA, and Wilt Chamberlain in the 1973 NBA Finals after this. Welcome back in the vault. Al Trautwig along with Earl the Pearl Monroe. We're recapping what happened to the New York Knicks in 1973. So let's show you what we have of Game 1 of the 1973 NBA Finals. Oh, it doesn't exist. All right, let's go to Game 2 of the 1973 NBA Finals. It doesn't exist. Game 4, no. All we have are just a few moments of Game 5. Can you believe that? That somebody somewhere didn't hit the record button and save it?
Well, well, it's a tough situation, obviously, but somewhere along the line, someone has those films.
Now, when you go to Los Angeles for the decisive Game 5, are you in the heads of Will Chamberlain and Jerry West a little bit, or is it just your year?
It's our year, I think, and having, again, being beaten in the final, the series before against them in the previous year, we were really ready for this. We lost our first game, but even after we lost our first game, we came in the locker room knowing that we could win. And I think that was what, propelled us on to win 4 straight.
So again, what's left is very little, but we're going to go to the 4th quarter of Game 5 of the 1973 NBA Finals. A critical moment as Dave DeBusschere turns his ankle. Now remember, he had been hurt the prior year, and that was one of the reasons why the Lakers were able to beat the New York Knicks. Now in a very close game, without Dave DeBusschere, the Knicks had to try and close things out.
Frazier counted by West. One bounces to Reed. Willis out deep straight away. On the left side, Monroe. Monroe cuts to the left-hand corner. Fakes. Does not have the shot. Outside Reed. Willis turns to Bradley from straight away the jump. Yes. And the Knicks now lead 86-80. 3:05 remaining in the game. Bradley with 10 field goals, 20 points. Goodrich left side of the circle. Stops for the jump. It's good. 86-82. Goodrich now with 26 points. 10 field goals, 6 from the foul line. The Knicks lead by 4 at 1 point, led by as many as 14. Monroe to the forecourt on the right side. Monroe puts the ball on the floor. Monroe to the right baseline. Met by Chamberlain. The ball deflects out of bounds. Actually off the foot of Chamberlain as he tried to break up the move by Monroe and succeeded. Monroe will throw in with 10 seconds to attempt the field goal. To Reed in the corner, jumper, good. And the Knicks now lead 88-82. Willis with 16 points. Goodrich moves it across, accelerates to the right side of the lane, does not have the shot. Outside West, he's out deep, moves to the right side. Played very tight by Frazier. Cross court it goes to McMillan. He fakes, back the other way it goes for Erickson. His jump rims the basket. Rebound, Frazier loses control. Bradley picks up the loose ball. Bradley, triple team, sends ahead for Reed. Cross-court Monroe on the drive against West. Whirls and hits. And is fouled. Yes, and it counts. Bradley in heavy traffic. Triple team was able to get the ball out, pushing it up court. Monroe clicking on the whirling drive, and it was fouled on the play. So Monroe will go to the line. Looking for the three-point play. Foul shot is good. West committed the foul, his first.
Now, you might be watching this saying to yourself, wait a minute, I've seen other parts of this game. Yeah, that's film, but we're talking about game broadcast on television, video. Now, Earl, you've survived this late storm by the L.A. Lakers. You're pretty much in control here. You're starting to allow yourself maybe to think of, oh, I'm going to win an NBA championship. What does that feel like when you start thinking that?
Well, it felt great. Obviously, one of the reasons I wanted to come to New York was to win the NBA championship. But, it's so strange. Again,
there you go.
It makes a difference. Yeah. But even after the game, after we won, I mean, it wasn't the type of celebrations that you get today. I mean, we went into the locker room, everyone, we got a little champagne or whatever the case may be. We all went back, and I can remember Dean Memringer, who was my roommate at the time. They don't have that today. We just went to bed, ordered some food, went to bed, and that was it. Yeah, no celebration.
Look how businesslike the Knicks are. There's that famous photograph from George Kalinsky of Bill Bradley leaping into the arms. It lasts about a half a second. The Knicks looked like they had to rush into the locker room as fast as possible. Here are the final moments in the little video that we have of the final game of the 1973 NBA Finals.
West will throw in. Jumped at by Frazier. Gives to Goodrich. Gets the step. He drives. Knocked away by Monroe. Picked up off the floor by Reed. He's double-teamed at the baseline. Gives off to Bradley. Bradley to the midcourt line. Beautiful play defensively by Monroe. Swatting it away from Goodrich on the drive. 35 seconds remaining to the Knicks' second World Championship. They lead 96-91. Monroe to the left side. Gives to Bradley. Bradley makes his move along the sideline. Moving towards center court. Spinning. The ball knocked away. He recovers. Gives to Reed with 6 on the 24. To Monroe in the corner. He drives. Lays it up. It's knocked away. They say goaltending on Chamberlain. So the basket counts. Credited to Monroe. And the Knicks now lead 98-91. 20 seconds remaining. Goodrich racing a one bounce for West on the drive. Running hook, no good. Rebound batted around. Taken by Jackson. Spinning at the foul line. The ball knocked away. He is fouled in the backcourt. And the Knicks bench, sensing the victory, going a little bit berserk, John. All smiles with 13 seconds remaining. Phil Jackson to the line at a 3 for 2. It's a backcourt foul.
It's a great picture over there because the Knicks bench is nothing but happiness. And Red Holzman is standing there like it's the fourth game of the series and they're down 3-1 or something. Coaching away like crazy right to the end.
Jackson hits on the first. Now here's the second. It is around the rim, drops through. The Knicks now lead at 100-91. Lakers to the forecourt. A pass battled away by Frazier. Frazier to the midcourt line with 8 seconds. Frazier to the left side of the circle, down the lane. Hands to Monroe. The whirling move, no good. Rebound tipped in by Jackson. Now the Lakers fire down court. Here's Chamberlain taking it. He drives and stuffs with 1 second to go. The Knicks will inbound. Bradley is told to inbound the basketball. He does to Reed. Willis hooked by Bradley, and that's the story. The New York Knicks have defeated the Los Angeles Lakers by the score of 102-93, and they race off the court here at the Forum in Los Angeles with the 1973 World Championship, doing it in 5, reversing the scene of a year ago.
And that is the last time that the New York Knicks won the NBA championship. They arrived home to thousands at the airport, had a ceremony at City Hall, and eventually, because of that win, Earl the Pearl Monroe's number 15 was retired at Madison Square Garden. When you sum up all that, the championship being a Knick, the number being retired, what do you think of?
Well, just a great end of a career. Obviously, I played a few more years here in New York with no luck, but you know, it's just a great feeling being here playing against the guys that I used to play against in Baltimore and beating them, and then coming here. I think that's one of the real good things that happened to me.
Did you and Clyde, even now as you work together at Madison Square Garden, ever have a chuckle and say, I guess we can play together?
Oh, well, we always talk. Everyone always asks us, you guys, were you really close, or were you really this or what? Well, we always said we had so much respect for each other that nothing else, really mattered. We were able to play because we were basketball players who understood how to play the game. We were professionals, and that's the thing we try to get across to the young kids today. Be professional about what you're doing.
Our thanks to the legend, Earl the Pearl Monroe. Do you have home videos or home movies about games back in the day? We'd love to share them with everybody out there. Go to msgnetwork.com and click on The Vault with Earl the Pearl Monroe. Al Trawick, thanks for joining us here on MSG. We love sharing the memories.